Hello and welcome back to the Quake Pro League, where we're plugged in for our final bonanza of the night, and hopefully this should be an incredible viewing experience. Av3k, the Polish Punisher, of course, faces off versus Coollerz, the King. Coollerz, I think it's interesting because obviously we spoke about him so much on the build-up, and then he gets flattened at LAN by Av3k. In his hometown, Av3k was riding high.
Yeah, that was pretty much the most anticlimactic performance I've ever seen out of any top player. It was like, are you going to win it again? Even your interview on stage, and he was like, what will be, will be. It was such hype. It was like, yeah, he's out day one.
Literally. We didn't even see it. It was on the B stream.
It was
on the B stream.
Didn't even make the stage.
No. He got knocked out backstage.
That was hilarious.
All by one man, by Av3k, who absolutely smashed it. Yeah, but Av3k set it up, and then Chain came in for the swing.
Yeah,
Av3k went for the little throw.
The Chain, knocked it out the park. So, but, we are going to talk about Av3k, who, again, very similar to Cypher. Like, he's on his day. Just incredible play. He has this capability just to do immense amount of damage. He's hyper aggressive, but being so well rounded, just can do anything he wants to. He's obviously a former Quake 4 multi champion, won a couple of high profile Quake 3, Quake Live events, hasn't hit the same heights in Quake Champions, but has it in him for sure.
Oh, yeah. He's had those moments of pure greatness that we see, especially when he's on LAN as well. Yeah. He sort of transcends to a whole different level of Av3k. But his competitor, Coollerz, obviously it's the biggest sort of blip, because he smashed it in Luca, again with Razy taking another second place. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride.
Yeah.
But Coollerz that time dominated, and it seemed like he was in this unreal form where he was coming to Poland to win the whole thing. And as you said, I spoke to him about it and was like, this is it. People are now starting to tout whether you are the best player in Quake at this point. Do you feel like you're going to be able to win it? And he gave the cryptic response of, I'll just take it as it comes, and I feel like it will happen.
Well,
and he's out.
For me, like, Coollerz, he's an innovator, he's an exceptional player. I think in recent years his aim has come on leap and bounds. But his play style, for as great as he is incredibly, not high risk, but it's got a higher risk than someone like a Rafa or a Cypher.
Right.
Because he likes to dominate the map. He doesn't want to be out of control. And so if he's out of control, he will rush you, and he will try and take items, he will try and take you head on, and he will try and bully you off them. And then he gets control, settles down, and suffocates the map. And that's the way he likes to play. But there is just some times where he will run into this brick wall and not be able to regain control, and then not have a default mode to drop back on. Not like a Cypher or Rafa where they'll just then, okay, we'll settle down, play a distance game, chip away at you. Yes, he can do that, but sometimes it just takes too long for him to reset to that.
Yeah.
And then the map can spiral out of control, even against a player technically worse than him. Because they're in control, they're playing well, they found their groove, and they're just getting ahead. And there's just a time where he can't get back. He hasn't got enough time to get back. And it was a play style built around the 15-minute time limit, and it works very well for him. But it can be quite high risk.
Well, it's obviously things have changed now as well, and the way we were in with Quake Champions, it's a whole different playing field. Let's have a look at that playing field with the veto, so we can see how that has shaped up. As we do have the picks and bans, starting off with Awoken, with a Galena for Av3k and a Doom coming through from Coollerz.
Yep, not too much there, really. I think it can be difficult to play Galena on the map, but we also see a lot of creativity from the totems in the past.
Normally from Razy.
Yeah, don't know. I don't think Av3k is going to be the guy to do that, but again, it's a high combat map. Galena is a high combat champion. You've got those totems to fall back on, perfectly fine. Ruins, Riser versus Ranger. Pretty standard matchup. Visor's very good on that map because there's a lot of hiding areas, lots of split levels. Same for Ranger. You can use that orb to get up from the heavy armor to the mega health room very, very quickly, as well as just the general utility that Ranger brings to the table. And then Ison versus BJ on Blood Covenant, which is a very strange matchup. Coollerz did pick, I think he picked Ison against Av3k on Blood Covenant before, and he got spanked. And we were left questioning, why did you pick it? And he didn't show anything that would vindicate that pick. So let's see if this time has a second chance.
It has a second wind, a bit of a change to it potentially, because we need to see some innovation there. Everything aside, obviously, going into this, it is kind of a fresh matchup. it's always hard to call, right? Any game that Cooller's in, you got to sort of give him the eye and be like, well, it is Cooler at the end of the day.
I'm going to say 2-1 Cooler.
Okay.
I think on recent history, you have to give it to Av3k just because he beat him last.
He did take him down, yeah.
We just saw how well Cypher played, and Cooler 3-0'd Cypher last week, or 2-1? 2-1.
I think it might have been a 3-0, actually.
Either way, he beat Cypher, who played exceptionally well today.
Yeah.
So Cooler's obviously back, slightly. Av3k beat him last, but I still feel more confident around the way in which Cooler might play.
Yeah, I got to give you that. I think I do have to give it to Cooler. I think this will probably be a 3-0 towards Cooler, but I do see where it can go more along the lines of a 2-1. I do think they're going to be close games as well, because Av3k's definitely been looking like he's been looking good again. Everything's been working for him. He's been hitting his shots. Game sense-wise, he seems to be on point. So I think it'll be a close series. By no means is this going to be a whitewash either way. It's going to be tight and down to the wire.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's pretty much as expected.
Yeah.
It's always going to be a good game.
Oh, yeah. With these two names, especially based off what's happened, this is it. We've been waiting for kind of the follow-up. The fact this happens now in the second week of Stage 3, pretty good. Pretty good for the storyline, at least.
Yeah. I agree. It's always fun. And like Av3k, Cypher, Cooler, they're three of my favourite players to watch. So it's great to see them back-to-back as well.
Oh, yeah. Especially when we get in on Awoken with a Galena taking on the Doom. Starting off from Av3k's point of view on the Galena, let's see what mischief this man can cause.
Yeah, I do favour the Doom on this map slightly, particularly if Cooler does get the momentum up, as we said, can strangle the map, and Awoken, you really can strangle this map. But Av3k never wants to lie down. Nice rail.
Nicely executed.
And got time to get across here, but Cooler hearing that and reading that, doesn't matter. Cooler's never going to back down from a major item. Perfect stop from Av3k.
Av3k back on over towards the heavy, waiting for the spawn to come up. He's going to be able to snatch that now. That's the second time he's got the major item. And he is looking to contest here. He doesn't want Cooler to get the mega.
Nice.
And he gets it with style, eliminating Cooler, pinning him against the wall.
Almost identical play back-to-back. Perfect cycle from that heavy to mega. Once again, Cooler caught off guard twice on that major item. Nice from Av3k.
He's out of it.
He's just going to push in here, knowing Cooler doesn't have any real weapons to work with.
What? Oh no! Cooler with the
no! What?
Huh?
Surely he was in radius there.
Did he double jump over it?
He must have just been a few pixels out.
That was a roller coaster of emotions. That whole thing was some ups and downs. Jeez.
Wow.
Alright, well that's definitely a way to get back into the game. One frag difference between them. Cooler, after landing an uppercut and busting the jaw clean off of Av3k, probably one of the first times I've ever actually seen that used aggressively rather than to just run away for the sake of it.
Yeah, it's extremely rare. But and we said, like, Cooler had nothing to work with except a rail. It was like, let's just use this and see what happens.
I'm going to go Tyson Fury.
And it worked. Boxing gloves off on all.
Bare knuckle.
Much slower pace than I would have anticipated at this point in time. Again, huge respect coming out from both of them. Av3k getting the upper hand of that engagement, though.
Stopwatch.
Perfect split on the items.
Lots of splashing around below there. It's Cooler listening out for the audio cues, playing it very slow.
Av3k's more than aware of what Cooler's doing because he is controlling that middle area. So Av3k's taking up these positions in and around the heavy, particularly good rail positions. And that's why he's catching Cooler, because he can anticipate where he's going to be showing from.
Cooler still just waiting it out. And he got 3 rails to play with though, Dan, so he needs to be quite precise. Did you not see him, Cooler? There's the reaction. Bit of a stalemate now. Both of them just taking one major item apiece. Not trying to be greedy. That was a nice wide swing though from Coollerz to put his feelers out and punish Av3k ever so slightly.
Yeah, Coollerz trying to bait Av3k into an engagement, but Av3k's not falling for it. He's quite happy to stay on that side of the map. He doesn't need to progress out. At the same time, Coollerz with the utility to get in and around that major central area, meaning Av3k can't actually push out. That's why we see a little bit of a stalemate coming up, but now Coollerz realizes there is a split on the major items and can push it to do at least some damage. That damage now signifies to Coollerz that there is an opportunity after the next round of major items to push in. Av3k's doing a good job to counter him as he's stuck down in that watery grave.
LG straight out on the prow as well.
Lovely.
That's a follow-up. That's now 4-1. So Av3k starting to assert dominance here on Awoken, as he's definitely looking fired up.
Yeah, he's caught Coollerz off guard down in this rail watery area twice now. And Coollerz can't get out here. And he is out, technically.
Oh, that's the 4th ring out of the day. And the MIDI to do it as well. Sent him flying. That's the Av3k space program.
Av3k is looking really good so far. He's playing calculated, he's hitting his shots, and he's just outplaying Coollerz at every turn.
Stopwatch.
Again, trying to go on the aggressive even, as he looks to try and punish. Does fall back ever so slightly, up the bounce pad, taking a lot of damage, suffering heavy losses to his life, as he will go down.
Coollerz stringing the rails, he needed that desperately because he wasn't doing anything else on the map. Oh, that was close.
Stopwatch.
Here's a really good stack. Now this is where we see the Coollerz pressure come on. 10 seconds before the Mega, so he just wants to secure this area. He might walk into a totem though. Don't know if he saw it, but does dodge around it.
Bit of a tag in the back there, going to knock down Av3k relatively low. Salvo of rockets going to be spammed out. Coollerz actively trying to.
He's out of rockets though. He's only got the rail and shotgun. So obviously switching to the shotgun just in case he runs into Av3k, but picks up the rocket, meaning he can fight again. Showing great respect to Av3k, not wanting to overcommit.
Constant tri-bolt spam going out.
Yes. Can't push through a choke point. Av3k has dropped on him and found him from behind, and Coollerz will be going down here. He's completely lost track of where Av3k was.
That's ridiculous. The confidence from this man. That's so bold.
And he's got 3 totems up.
Yep, that's a free overstack going his way, and he's going to be looking to try and play with it as well. He wants to push in. LG's out. Point blank rockets, but it's not going to work. He falls as Coollerz will kill him.
I mean, completely right decision, but swap to the rocket too late. Should have spammed it out a little bit earlier, and Coollerz doing a huge amount of damage before Av3k could react.
It's punishing stuff.
It is, and it's given Coollerz a good lifeline into this game. Was thought about the rocket jump up there, but just didn't take it, missing the mid-airs. 2, 3.
But it's the rail to finish.
And Av3k's still got 3 totems up. Oh, they're all down there. Cheeky, cheeky boy.
7-3.
Oh, he's got loads up. 4.
Coollerz looking for them now, though, starting to pick them off so he doesn't have availability to play with them to give him that edge. And he does go down. Coollerz will finish him off, but he still needs to get quite a few more frags.
He does, but there is lots of time on Awoken. Another frag here will be everything he needs, but Av3k to sneak away. The power of the totems in fight there pretty much saved Av3k.
Stopwatch.
Cooler obviously doesn't have a rocket, means he can't commit. He's got a rail either, so he's trying to force these fights, but Av3k can just run. Ouch, that hurts. But Av3k will spawn heavy side, so he should be able to pick it up relatively cleanly, meaning he can now put pressure onto the Mega because Coollerz doesn't yet have a rocket launcher either. Coollerz is very much out of control. He probably will die here, and he gets ringed out as well.
Wow, that's the second time he's been knocked out of the map in that fashion. That's so unfortunate for him. It seemed like there was a possibility, Dan, but now no
it was
chance.
unfortunate, but at the same time, it's all credit to Av3k for recognizing that situation. He knew that Coollerz didn't have the weaponry. He knew that he got the better spawn with all the items, and that Coollerz didn't have a chance to restack. So ultimately, it was just good play from Av3k.
Yeah, deadly stuff. Really sent him packing straight out of the map.
So again, he got 3 totems up as well. Done a good job without putting them in unusual positions to get that happening.
It doesn't even matter if he doesn't go back in for this fight as well.
Exactly.
It's just a matter of staying alive at this point.
Not again.
He wants to get the punch off. He was trying to run the risk. He does go down, and that's it. His fate has been sealed. It will be 9-5 with Av3k moving on as the winner on Awoken. That is a huge display from Av3k. A massive step up. A repeat of Poland on the first map. Can he continue it?
Was indeed. And you can see Av3k coming out with only slightly better control overall in terms of major item pickups, but Coollerz just generally having better control. If Av3k's damage was better. They both showed an immense amount of respect to each other, neither one wanting to overcommit. Perhaps the lessons of Poland ringing true in Cooller's ears for much of that, because it definitely felt like a slower paced game than Coollerz would probably want to have played. And I just felt like Av3k just outperformed him.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, Av3k just really hitting all his shots, looking good in terms of his control of the map. The rotations were nice, even when he did start to fall into a position where Coollerz wanted to switch up the pace of the game. He didn't fall into it, read it very smart, and played always to his advantage. So, Coollerz really knocking it down.
Yeah, the first 2 frags are symptomatic of what we'd normally expect from an Av3k Coollerz game. Av3k with that trademark aggression through the corridors, pressuring the items, Coollerz standing ground, making sure he could try and keep as much of the control as possible. And ever since that, Coollerz obviously lost out on both occasions. He went really passive, and they just kind of played their areas of the map. Coollerz respecting Av3k's combat prowess and not wanting to take combat fights, and Av3k respecting that Coollerz had control of the central area and just keeping to that heavy side. And there was a few key fights that went Av3k's way that won him the map. This one was a big one because Coollerz came away very, very low, and it was after here that Av3k pushed in, as we see, getting the frag, ringing him out, and sealing the victory.
Yeah. Secures it for himself on Awoken.
Yes,
2
indeed.
maps still to go, though. Now, this is the big question, is obviously Av3k, can he try and maintain this? Because there is potential he could take this series. And obviously, if he wants a ridiculous amount of points and also wants to do it against one of probably the harder competitors he's going to be going up against over the course of the season, getting the full points from Coollerz from a 3-0 would just be lunacy.
It'd be lunacy in points and lunacy for confidence, because you're saying like Coollerz, for a lot of the time, was player of the season.
Yeah.
Right up there, particularly on LAN performance, and Av3k to do it twice would be a huge boon for him.
Yeah, he did it on LAN, but can he do it online tonight? As we move on, obviously map 2 coming up now. It's going to be rough, because I feel like Coollerz played it well for the most part. It was just Av3k really had his number in a lot of situations.
Yeah, there wasn't a huge lot separating them on
No.
that. We'll see how Coollerz changes his strategy up now, because as I said, it didn't feel that Coollerz asserted himself as much as he probably would have wanted to, and maybe on a bit more of an expansive map he might actually try and do that now.
Potentially so.
Yeah.
Definitely could try and switch things up. Obviously, there a lot more room for fights. Awoken, one of those that's quite small,
Exactly.
quite a lot of chaos.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
if you want to just take fights, you can.
Yeah, and Av3k didn't want to, and Coollerz didn't pressure him into doing so. So it was again a respectful match between the two.
I think that's probably the bigger thing as well, is they do at this point have to show a lot of respect. They can't really go for too many risky plays, purely because at this point they know they could beat each other. It's so fine, the line, which is really interesting over the course of the season, how close it's got between a lot of players.
Yeah, you've seen the gaps like merge rather than widen, I guess,
Yeah.
as well. A lot more 2-1s coming throughout the day, throughout each week, rather than potential 3-0s that we saw earlier in the year. So yeah, completely right.
Well, here we go. The Prince versus the King in an act to attempt to dethrone. Let's see if he can do it.
Coollerz does have a far easier time in getting around the map than Av3k, so that's again to his advantage if he wants to strangle those major items. But Av3k with the vision game. And we saw earlier today the immobility of Visor being exploited by Athena. Not quite the same dynamic, but it is something that the Ranger can do. That's more like Coollerz. Good getaway from Av3k. He did complete that rocket jump. I thought he might have just missed it.
That's good. At least Av3k was able to get himself back, reposition, and get the mega health. But Coollerz, he's got way more stack to play with.
What a rocket.
And he's the one hitting the shots as well as he traces. Av3k looks for the drop-down kill, and it will be the shotty to finish.
It will, and that's more stereotypical of what I expect from Coollerz. Heavy pressure on major items, and Av3k doing the same thing. Perfect timing, pushing in, stealing the item, and he could get the frag, but he has got Coollerz incredibly low. And with this spawn, if he is lucky, he should be able to get onto the Mega, and he is not lucky.
No, that's so unfortunate. Coollerz snatching up all the resources now, starting to absorb everything around him, but he's also going to be sucking in a lot of watts as his body gets riddled with the lightning. Av3k back in a position to actually start to do some damage here. 2 seconds till Heavy comes up. That should be in control of Av3k. Then there's a 10-second wait until Mega spawns in.
He doesn't
Coollerz
have the rocket launcher though. That's one of the things Coollerz could exploit. He instead decides to get on the item just a bit earlier than he potentially needed to.
It's quite risky.
It is very risky.
Damn, that's going to finish him off as well. 2-2 apiece. Av3k, he's already been able to tie this one up.
Great use of the piercing sight as well. Coollerz won't know about that. Or jumping down slightly too early, but again, securing the major item the priority, as we've had a chaotic 2-minute opening so far.
Yeah, a lot of aggression, a lot of confidence on display from either player.
Av3k doesn't have the rocket launcher. Still, Coollerz might realise that now as Av3k pushes in with the wrong weapons. Oh, he moved just a second too early.
Getting caught on the wall nearly killed him there.
Yes, it did. I think Coollerz would have heard that though. Again, yeah, he did, spamming out that entrance area. Av3k realising he had to get spotted out by Coollerz. Has to back off and try to get some weapons. Still needs a rocket. And now Cooller's got the map on lockdown.
Backstab play could be absolutely spectacular, but he's shooting toes as he looks to try and punish. And this also sets up Coollerz to establish dominance with item control.
It does, but Av3k has got himself weapons, got himself his ability back up, and a light armor to play with. Can scoot over to try and do some damage as Coollerz rocket jumps out.
That's so unfortunate. Oh, that encounter's gone really bad for Av3k.
But we can see what Coollerz wants to do. Suffocate the map, get both major items at all costs, then pressure his opponent straight off the bat. But Av3k understanding that, just keeping his distance exceptionally well. This is a good position as well because you do have 2 exit points. You can deal damage if your opponent does decide to commit, which Coollerz doesn't because Av3k did a huge amount of damage previously.
So going to be going back out. Av3k looking to attempt to find some leeway here.
Coollerz playing in a defensive position just to get some intel. Make sure he controls the upper area just to make safeguard that Mega. As we reset now into this split item pattern. Each player defending their respective areas. But Av3k's doing a great job of having a high upside. Oh, but Coollerz drops straight onto him. Unfortunate to get knocked away. He does commit into the orb, and it's not going to be enough as Av3k has great reaction time. As I was just saying, the amount of uptime that Av3k's keeping onto that piercing sight has been a game changer so far.
Wow. I mean, that was so close, but it's incredibly good he's been able to find that frag. He's now got a 2-frag lead, also gets control of the Mega once again. We're 5 minutes in.
And he also knows that Cooller's weaponry isn't a lot, but Cooler does have a better stack than him and a lightning gun, which is enough. Cooler comes up very early just to make sure that Av3k isn't around.
Does go for the use of the visor though, with a piercing sight coming out. Av3k, essentially one shot from anything will kill him, but it's the rocket through the grates!
With 2 health remaining.
That is ridiculous. You cannot be doing this.
Av3k's playing insane so far. Cooller's trying everything. He's trying aggression, he's trying passive, he's trying to outsmart him. Nothing is working so far. Yeah, I was going to pop that straight away.
Av3k knows where he's waiting. The Dire Orb entry comes out for Cooler. Yeah, he's done a ton of damage, but can he actually follow up from it to be able to get the elimination? Yes, he can. Super Shotgun turn the corner as Av3k is sleeping with the fishes.
Cooler tried to force him out into that light armor area, but not successful. Instead, settling for both major items, which is what he wanted, because now he can keep that aggression up. There's only 2 frags in it, even though there's been so much combat.
Here's the footsteps.
Just in time. Yeah, I think Cooler and Kilson are 2 of those players, when they're in control, slow down the pace very well. Like Predators, they'll just set these traps and use audio cues and the power of silence. And then when there's opportunities like now, that's when they go aggressive, that's when they go quick.
Ooh. Damn. Well, Av3k carrying on. This is going to be able to zap his way through Cooler. It's a nice tag as well from the railgun to get him even lower. Quite squishy if he wants to find a follow-up frag.
Cooler deciding to drop down. Av3k phased just before he picks it up, but I think he did see it. Av3k's aim has been on point.
He's been very crisp.
And he just manufactures good angles. He gets in the positions early. That's why it looks very easy for him.
Back up the bounce pad. Facing side can be used just in the nick of time as Cooler comes around the corner. Av3k looking to get the shots off, but Cooler starts the dash, makes this move back over, hoping to get in towards the heavy room. He's so low, and luckily the LG is going to be drawn to finish him.
Yeah, standing still, accepting his fate. He's also... Has he been spotted? No.
Is he still just standing there?
I don't know.
No.
Nope, he's definitely not. He's just... Although he doesn't have a weapon. This is a good game.
Yeah, but the way this is going, from the time left on the clock, there's not much the Cooler can really do. Av3k, it's going to be a 2-0 already. There is potential that he could 3-0 the entire series here, and that would be a ridiculous win for the endpoint side.
It definitely would be. I mean, we both predicted a Cooler win, and I'm actually favouring Av3k on the final map based on picks. Ison is not a champion I think is particularly effective on Blood Covenant, so I'm really interested again to see what Cooler has to prove me wrong.
What eyes and tricks does he have up his turret-based sleeve? For Cooler now, though, it's a matter of what else can he get done in this map before it. So we're very close towards the end. He looks to try and make it a 9-5. Instead, it's going to be a 10-4 finish, it seems, as Av3k doesn't have much stack left at all and is just going to wait for the Mega before this one is closed out.
Yeah, both. Understanding the map is long over. Just going through the motions a little bit. I've been hugely impressed with Av3k. I think he's had the right mix of aggression when it's needed and caution and strategy throughout with execution. There was just a few select moments where Av3k he just reads combat so quickly, where he's pushing in at the right moments and just taking items away at the right moments. I think there was right at the start where he, off the spawn, I think he died and just dove straight for the heavy with only a machine gun and got the frag, or nearly got the frag.
Yeah.
And then that got him back into the game right from the off. So it's just those type of situations where it's some players can take a lot of learnings from.
Oh yeah, there was some very, very close moments throughout the entire thing. Obviously, it's just a surprise as well because normally Coollerz is ridiculous, and today he seems a lot more mortal. Whereas we're seeing Av3k come out with some huge plays, and generally just play some really smart Quake.
This was the frag here. You see Av3k just recognizing the situation, doing an immense amount of damage, and because of how low he got Coollerz, we can see here. Reading what Coollerz needs, he needs some resources, pushing in, gets the frag, and from there on in, he was able to control the game exceptionally well. He made sure he was always getting his vials up, so his uptime on piercing sight was huge. Made sure he had spot on timing, so whenever Coollerz tried to make these moves onto the items, he was always ready for it. And there was periods, again, Coollerz trying to make these super aggressive plays, which against other players might have worked, and there, that 2 HP frag through the grates. Clinical throughout.
Yeah, really fantastic stuff. And for Av3k, this is the dream scenario now. 2 maps already taken. If he gets a third, it is going to be the full amount of points for the series, which would be ridiculous when you consider the fact it's against Coollerz that is in those top echelons. Guaranteed top 4 basically by the end of the season. He is going to get so many points off him. And this is the second week of competition here in Stage 3 as well, so it means he could actually skyrocket up the rankings if he carries on like this.
Yeah, and he definitely needs it. He's setting a lot lower than he should be, or perhaps sometimes deserves to be, and that's down to his own inconsistency. But we're seeing definitely a revitalised Av3k today in Stage 3, and it's really interesting since Poland. A lot of players have come out of their shells a lot more, I think.
Yeah. I think Poland was a good test of where everyone is in the scene right now and pushed people to their limits. Obviously, we had a lot of surprise with just the American side of things alone, showing that there is so much more than obviously people just looking at Rafa. There is so much more talent there.
Yeah, the depth was incredible and definitely shook the scene a little bit, and particularly with how well Rafa played. So it wasn't just Rafa being Rafa, it was Rafa showing new levels of heights in terms of aim and strategy.
Rafa just being on a completely another level.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. Also the same could be said for the European region, of course, as well, where the new blood is basically starting to overtake some of the old guard.
Well, you say that. We just saw Razy get dismantled by some of the
true.
oldest of the guard.
True. But, it's Cypher. It's different.
All right.
Yeah. He's young at heart. He's young at heart.
Yeah, but then we also saw Tox playing the best I've seen him play in quite a while.
Yeah.
So, I just think you're wrong.
All right, that's fair enough. I'll take that. And we'll roll with it. But it's all down to this. A third and final map, a decider, of course, between Av3k and Cypher. Is this the end point for Coollerz?
Yes. I mean, I've been wrong all day. I don't see him winning Blood Covenant with Ison.
Yeah.
But, and on form again, Av3k. Av3k's just been playing so much better. It's as simple as that.
Well, here we go. Coollerz and Av3k. They face off one final time. And it seems like the crown could be getting snatched from Coollerz here and placed on the head of Av3k, because we're straight in, and he's already been able to hoover himself up a mega health.
Yeah.
Really awkward firefight between the two of them to open this one up. Coollerz had to decide between 2 different targets.
Oh, Av3k picked Ison.
Yeah.
All right, ignore me. For some reason, I completely read that as cool. All right. I completely read that as Coollerz picking Ison, which he did do on land.
There you go.
I've just been wrong in my whole analysis. I still favour Av3k, but far less so than I would have otherwise. I think, I do think BJ's better.
As you should.
I was going to say the only real benefits I see are these long-range fights in around the bridge area, or putting them up, but I don't think it's worthwhile. Anyway, let's get back to commentating.
Well, that's what you were doing just there.
I know.
You're sharing your thoughts.
Sharing my insights, yeah.
it's all about.
Yeah,
like-
in these mid to long range fights, it takes your aim away.
Ooh.
But as we saw, just coming out from Cooler, he was able to do that and kill Av3k, so it wasn't enough.
Also, I mean, Cooller's quite lethal with one gun, especially when you give him two. It's even more damaging.
You know, Av3k knows he's super low here, but he has hit him around the corner.
If he turned the corner there, that would have been the kill. All he's got to do is get this shot for the super shot. He's slightly too far away.
I love VJ's low health noises.
Oh, shot in the back. Nearly out of ammo for a lot of the weapons that he's going to want to use here as well. 5 rockets. Luckily can replenish his rails. The rocket's not going to do anything as he fires off basically a warning shot, but can go for a bit of a chase now. Oh, there's the akimbo coming out from Cooler.
Oh, perfect timing for Av3k to knock Cooler off the item. It should be a frag hit, but Av3k doesn't want to take too much damage, so Cooler does retain his life for the moment. And a defensive turret on the low ground to prevent any potential sneakiness from Cooler.
I thought you would have thrown the turret down at him.
That's what he was doing.
No, originally. When they were fighting for the Mega.
Oh, I see.
When he backed off.
Yes. That probably would have been smart and he could have dropped on it.
Yeah, that's what I assumed he was going to go for because it was up. But
Yeah.
maybe just didn't want to take the risk at all.
You should be playing this duel. Jackie versus Cooler.
Cooler's 1-3-0. Ooh, right. Well, he kills the turret, does back off, but that does mean that at least for now he's delayed enough for Av3k to get the heavy pickup. Ooh,
Nice. I don't think Coollerz actually got a rail, which is a big problem. And Av3k's done a good job of standing and positioning himself on this side of the map. Could have shut the turret as he went past, but didn't land on the side. So yeah, if that is the case, Av3k definitely needs to keep the pressure on the rail area.
Stopwatch.
wow.
Yeah, the tribot's painful there.
Yeah, you don't want to get stuck in between that. You don't want to get shot from this distance either, as the HMG is going to start to pepper spray you.
And
Rip
Cooler
you to
now
pieces.
looks like he has a rail.
Stopwatch.
And Av3k should presume that is the case.
Impressive.
It's a big tag.
Definitely confirmed it now.
Heavy comes up, near miss with a rail as he fires it back over towards Cooler. Instead, going to be looking to drop down back by the blood pool. Oh, this could be another firefight though, straight through the portal. Does he expect the way that Cooler's turn? Oh, he's getting the shots off Dan. One more, he's done! And the HMG will finish it.
Back-to-back rails. Av3k's aim coming through this time. Taking the lead after 4 minutes. Very tactful game so far. Cooler hearing the rocket jump, but Av3k knows he's there. Oh. The aggressive play not coming off this time. First time this series pretty much that Av3k's made a pretty fundamental mistake with an aggressive play.
Stopwatch.
Cooler uses the momentum there to get a large leap off, to dash across. He might actually win this fight as well. He's been able to pick up the heavy. Does an awful lot of damage to at least stop Av3k from being able to get anything out of that, and then retreats as quickly as possible back over towards the Mega, but Av3k is already on his tail.
Av3k's got not a lot to work with. He's getting over to the rail finally, but still has no armor or hasn't touched a major item. Coollerz doing a good job of bouncing between the two. There's enough time for him to take both. And now he's also delaying as well. 15 seconds between them. But Av3k did see, so he's aware. I believe he does have the mega timing as well. And he does, as you see him, already camped above, and Cooller's going to potentially risk it with the double weaponry as he goes up. But his rocket jump is going to be the bane of him. As he just blasted up way too high. Did not intend that, I think.
Double bracket comes out as well. Av3k. Oh, I mean, that was sick. Lovely stuff as he balances him up and then the shotgun finish. That is fantastic from Av3k.
Mm-hmm. But he needs to get out of here now. Coollerz got enough to kill him. Av3k's setting up for a battle just in case Coollerz wants to drop on him. Not going to risk anything.
Had perfect time in there to get the rocket and rail combination off to really put a full stop on Coollerz' movement, but he goes back. He's not content with just dealing damage. He wants the frag. Unfortunately, it's an overcommitment with now one frag difference between Av3k and Coollerz.
I'm such a big fan of that play, because if he had got that frag and if he had got that item, the game would have been his. It's such an aggressive, proactive play, but at the same time, when it doesn't work, you do look a bit of a tit.
It's unfortunate. It could have been incredible, but it doesn't pay off for him, and now leaves him in quite a dire position, especially if he goes down here now. It would be 4-4. It's not meant to be just yet.
The reason why it was so smart is because he had went in between the weapon change. He assumed that Coollerz would be changing to the rail because he would have been skirting himself or should be running away, and so he knew he had 2 rails to survive.
Ooh.
It's just unfortunate that Coollerz hit both rails.
That's also unfortunate. Coollerz drops down knowing that Av3k was relatively low from his real big damage that he was laying out against him whilst he wanted to hold towards the heavy. Instead, he loses the fight in the drop.
Heavy machine gun is a very powerful weapon.
Ooh, he's really on his tail.
So the Ison has been working out well. I understand the logic behind it. I think there's still better picks, but I understand, and it has been impactful, to say the least.
Drop down. The double shotty instead. The double LG.
No way!
That is just magnificent.
And all Av3k needs to do now is keep his range, which he
Okay.
can't do.
Coollerz is not happy.
I mean, he's got no weapons. He's got the rail now, which he needs. That was Av3k's lifeline. He needs to get across to that rocket, but Av3k is bare. Neither of them have a rocket, but the range is... Av3k just protecting the choke point, but maybe to his detriment. It is to his detriment.
The tracing there was fantastic. Now it's down to this. A 1-on-1 for this next frag, ideally. In the last...
And he has the dual
few
wield
seconds
as
of the
well.
game. Yeah, he could do a ton of damage.
Yeah,
he
he
doesn't have the
knows.
LG though.
No, but he knows he has plenty of time. 30 seconds is more than enough. He just needs to find Av3k.
As long as he gets the timing off perfectly.
He knows Av3k's hiding somewhere around here.
Oh, is he going to clear it? Instead goes over to the right. Av3k reveals himself, but it's a near miss. 20 seconds. The clock
seen
is ticking. He's got to take down the turret and get the chase on the go. They're both going to head over towards the Mega. Coollerz has a sneaking suspicion of where he's gone, but he has 10 seconds to find him. He's popped it, but there's no one near him. Av3k's just got to run. 5 seconds. I think he's done it.
He's done it. Jackie, he's done it. And he's 3-0'd Coollerz.
Wow. A 3-0 from Av3k, the Polish Punisher. He beats Coollerz in Katowice. He now comes back to do it again online.
Coollerz nemesis.
Yeah, there is a feud developing there.
I mean, Av3k plays exceptional all series long. His rail in particular was a highlight for me, but ultimately his decision making throughout, that proactive movement, I mean, I really enjoy people that play like that, and it's definitely won him quite a few new fans, I'm sure, as well as just won him the series. So,
No, that's absolutely incredible. He has smashed it, really, through and through, been able to dominate. As Av3k walks away, now taking that crown off Cooller's head. As the Prince is overthrown over the course of 3 maps, he has dominated. Think of the points as well, straight from Coollerz.
that was, I enjoyed that.
That was good.
Yeah. Some good combos coming out from Av3k.
This was nice, really smooth.
another day that a lot of these frags probably would have gone Coollerz way because there was so many close calls between the two of them, particularly on this map. But it just wasn't to be. Today was Av3k's day, and he fully deserved every single map win.
Yeah, he dominated, he came, he saw, and he conquered versus Coollerz. An incredible match between these two. What a series to end on.
Yeah, that and the Razy Cypher one of the two series of the day. I mean, we had actually some really great series today, to be fair, but they were...
Those were the bangers.
Yeah. Slobber knockers.
Oh, indeed. If you did miss those games, I suggest going back and checking them out, as the whole way through, all 3 maps were jam-packed with real juicy bits of Quake Champions.
I think virtually every series today was super close and super exciting. Like Dewey Dahang was incredibly... That was incredible display of Quake. We had Tox Venga.
Yes.
We were base versus Sparty. Even that was good.
That was all right.
So yeah,
it's pretty good.
It's been a good day.
Yeah, it's not been too bad. For now though, let's look back a little bit before we look to the future, Dan. Let's delve into the results from last week, of course, with the overall standings. This is from last week, Dan. So here's how things shaped up before tonight's broadcast.
Thanks for qualifying that, Jackie.
Well, just in case. You know, you never know. Just wanted to let you know. Interesting fact is that obviously Coollerz, 5th position there. We've now got the man that's come in from nowhere, obviously, at this time around. Av3k was in 13th place. Think of how good that's going to do for him with those.
Venga has 1,200 losses. The man is getting demolished.
1,200 losses?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Wow, yeah. He's
He's getting smashed.
Wow. So good that he's in 6th, though. Unlucky for him. So this is how things shaped up, obviously, last week. Now, if we move on, we can see how things look after today's broadcast. These are the updated standings. This is what things are looking like today. So Av3k has leaped his way up towards 10th.
Yes, he has, as well as Cypher moving well up the board as well. Venga's also creeping up on Dahang incredibly close despite his 1,200 losses. And Coollerz beginning to drop a little bit down the rankings.
Yeah. Which is crazy when you think about it, really, that he's actually starting to get pushed out of that top 4.
Yep.
Normally a position that he'd like to keep himself firmly locked into. Cygib as well, moving up, now in 8th position from his win today.
Tui has 171 frags.
He doesn't need more than that.
It's very true.
That's all he requires. But yeah, it's actually curious to see how things have changed. Obviously, Cypher there now in 12th position. It makes sense. I think our top 7, it actually has a lot of the top talent you expect to be in there. Potential for it to be reshuffled around, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's shaping up quite nicely.
Like Chain's back at 9th.
Yeah.
Like he's really catapulted. Like he's ahead of Toxic, he's ahead of Cypher, he's ahead of Shron. Like 3 bigger of a name. Like Tox and Cypher in particular, you would say should be, especially Tox, much more up the board. And we saw from the performance today, he deserves to be further up the board as well.
I think the startling one for me now is Zron, 15th.
Yeah, he's definitely dropping off the pace a bit. And for all the praises we sing of Dramis, he's still sitting at 16th as well. So, yeah, he definitely can be doing a little bit better. And Base obviously establishing himself firmly as top 7, where he deserves to be rightly as well.
Yeah, well, definitely some interesting changes of the course of the board. I think the big ones, obviously, Coollerz dropping down, Chain's new position, the fact Av3k's now in 10th, busting into that top 10 is a really sick result for him. This is over the course of the stage as well. So if you're curious of how many games have been won just from this stage alone, obviously the second week of the stage is today. So not too many wins, but a couple being picked up across the board. Any final thoughts on the rankings, Dan?
No, I think as you rightly say, not really any big surprises there at the moment. Nice to see Av3k solidifying himself now in that top 10, largely off the back of that 3-0. I hope he continues to move further up the board. apart from that, I mean, yeah, it's as expected, really.
Yeah. Obviously, there is potential for Rafa and Sib's positions to change, as they were meant to play a game this week, but that was postponed, and we'll keep you updated on social media to let you know what's going to be going on with that, as that wasn't played tonight, obviously, which does mean this is our last game of the evening.
It does, and it won't affect Rafa's position, though.
No, he's going to be firmly in that top spot. But for Sib, potential. I mean, you never know. He was looking like he was starting to get some momentum going. He does play the top 2 from North America instantly. He's already played Dahang, so
Get them out the way early.
yeah, you might as well, right?
Yeah.
If there's a chance for a one map to be squeezed out, that'd be incredible for the bragging rights.
Yeah. And from what we saw on LAN, like, he definitely underrates himself, but he can shift some people around, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe. But for now, I think that's all the shifting we're going to be doing, as we are done and dusted. Stage 3, week 2, I was going to say day 2 for some reason. Week 2 is now concluded. We're wrapped up. That is the show. I do hope you've enjoyed the broadcast. There were some amazing results over the course of the day, so definitely look back on a couple of them if you are just joining us. But from everyone here, that's pretty much it, Dan. Have you had a good day?
I've had a good day.
Yeah?
Yeah, you need to brush up on some of your dad jokes.
Well, I think my dad jokes are on point.
I
think they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've enjoyed it. It's been a fun day. There's some good matches.
Yeah.
I'll rewatch it.
Lovely. Right, well, that's it. We're all wrapped up. Thank you for tuning in. Of course, let us know on social if you enjoyed the broadcast. # Quake Pro League. Tweet at us. Engage with us. We want to see it all. Send in your memes. For now, though, from me, Dan, everyone here at the Wonderful Faceit Studios, thank you for tuning into the broadcast, and we'll see you later.